Someone says that's a bridge too far. Good morning and welcome back to Suffolk. I've got a really special series of videos starting today. I am on the Suffolk coast at Lowestoft, the most easterly point in the UK, and I'm with Dawn, and we are going to be walking the Suffolk Coast Path. So it's starting from here at here and East Point Pavilion at Lowestoft, and then we're heading south to Felixstowe and Landguard Fort, which is going to be about 60, maybe 65 miles in total. So there's a couple of options for the routes that you can take. I want to do the Orford loop, so we'll be seeing that sort of section a bit further along the coast, sort of once we get sort of just before Shingle Street and Baldsey, and we'll be going to the town of Orford and its castle and stuff. I haven't done that section before. I have actually walked the Suffolk Coast Path before many years ago. If you look back on the channel, there's a really crappy video of just some photos. Basically, I didn't have a YouTube channel at the time. I was just into walking, and since then I've kind of always wanted to redo this one, and I thought it would be a good one for Dawn to join me on, being it's her first multiple day long distance walk. We are going to be wild camping, of course. We got to Lowestoft yesterday afternoon and we checked into the Rosevale B&B just so we have a bit of civilization and a hot shower each, and of course get a breakfast in the morning. Very reasonably priced, rooms were really nice, and Chris and Val were lovely hosts, made us feel really welcome, so I really highly recommend staying there if you're planning on taking a trip up here. We went to a pub called the Welcome Pub, which I thought was closed down at first. It looked a bit run down. It was a very old pub, and it was very welcoming in there. As soon as we went in there, they were like, "Who are ya?" like that, and we had a right laugh. It was nice there. So we had a drink there, got some fish and chips, and Dawn was so eager to get her fish and chips. She started putting sachets of salt in this bag that they were making up, and then he goes, "That's not your order," which I was belly laughing. So it was entertaining. It was very funny. That's Dawn's way, isn't it? So
if anything's going to happen, it's going to be to me.
What else did we do? We also went over to Nest Point, which is the actual most easterly point of the UK, and there was like a big Euroscope, like circular artwork thing on the floor there. It was in the shadow of the UK's largest wind turbine, Gulliver, absolutely huge. It just dwarfs everything around it. So today we are aiming to get to Southwold or Walberswick on the Blythe Estuary, and we're going to try and wild camp there tonight. We've got a new tent as well. We've got an OEX Phoxx 2-person tent, nice compact lightweight little backpacking tent to squeeze both of us and our gear in. Particularly good ciders around here are Aspel's, of course, because they're based in Suffolk, and Adnams from Southwold do a cider, Wild Waste, a lovely cider, so you'll be seeing a few pints of that on this trip. For all you beer fans out there, we have booked last night, this was last minute, we booked a brewery tour of Adnams based in Southwold. So when we get to Southwold, we're going to camp up, and then tomorrow at midday we're going on a brewery tour where we get to sample beers, hopefully their cider, and then I think we get a voucher each, I'm guessing, to go in the Southwold Adnam shop and get something for free as a memento to take home with us. So probably some ciders. So yeah, that's going to be fun. So looking forward to it. It's going to be great. Well excited. Let's go. Right, join us. Enough talking. Let's get walking.
Before setting out from Lowestoft Promenade, it might be worth making a short diversion northwards to Lowestoft Ness, the most easterly point in the British Isles. Hidden away behind an industrial estate in the shadow of the country's largest wind turbine, Gulliver, Lowestoft Ness is marked with a piece of informational art known as the Euroscope. This large compass-like structure shows the bearings and mileage to various points in the British Isles and Europe. The British mainland's most northerly point, Dunnet Head, is 465 miles from here, and the Lizard, the most southerly, is 352 miles distant. This first stage of the Suffolk Coast Path might be considered the least engaging part of the entire route, although it is not without its points of interest. There is a choice of beach or inland route, and this will be largely determined by the tide. At low or mid tide, it is preferable to stick to the beach between Lowestoft and Kessingland, while at high tide it is advisable to use the inland route that follows a busy main road for part of the way. Energetic walkers might wish to combine this walk with stage 2 in order to complete the stretch between Lowestoft and Southwold in a single day. If choosing to do this, be conscious of the state of the tide, especially for the last 2 to 3 miles into Southwold past Eastern Bavant's Cliffs, as there are no inland escape routes south of Eastern Broad.
So we're between Pakefield and Cove Height, and we've seen this concrete structure up on the cliffs that's nearly about to fall into the, well, fall down the cliff. I'll just zoom in. We've just seen a staircase going up there, so we're going to ditch the packs, climb up there and then have a little look at that, because that looks interesting. So we climbed up that massive staircase and we've come across like what we saw up here, and there's loads of little separate structures. So first building here, I've got a head torch with me. Whoa, oh, there's steps going down there as well. Right, let's crack the head torch out. Whoa. Whoa, there's a massive room in there. Just get some light on it. So that's like a plinth for some sort of machinery, like a, I don't know, a generator or something on top of that that powers something, I'm guessing. There's outlets there and stuff. A pipe coming down from up there. Oh, that looks like, is that to the ceiling? Could that have been a light, or I don't know, but it's cool. And then that looks like the secondary staircase. So there would have been two staircase either side of this main building, and then something running out there. So let's check the next building out. We're going to come back to that one and investigate this massive building. This is the one we saw from the beach down below. There's blackberries here. It's still got the original metal door on it. Well, this is a really big structure. They've bricked up those windows there where the hatches are. A lot of graffiti as you'd expect. I like the fact the doors have survived though. Into this big room here. Let's get the light in right, there we go. Yeah. It actually still closes, how cool is that? I looked and it would have had panes of glass in it because there's like a window frame. Cool. And they've bricked up this door here. Yes, I don't know what this could have been, but I have to do some research on it because I never knew this existed. I don't remember seeing this when I walked the path years ago, so let's see what the other building's saying. So there's the building there, and then we found, like literally right on the cliff edge, a nice little flat spot here where you could probably wild camp if you was brave enough. Maybe sort of pitch a shelter here, and you'd have that view. That's pretty cool. Gonna have to come back here, I think, for a little wild camp. Definitely. Right, we just passed a bloke that said there's another building up here and like a ladder or some steps that go down into it. It's worth checking out. Okay. You are not going to believe what this is. We found an ROC post. No way. That is an ROC post. We've got to check that out. I'm going down there. No way. Luke, if you're watching this, you're going to love that, mate. We've got to check it out. Right. Okay. Let's go exploring an ROC post. Brilliant. Ah. I bet there's going to be loads of spiders.
Now you know how centre feels.
Oh, there's a massive gap. Right, you want to pass the camera down? Yeah.
Be careful.
Cheers. Okay.
I can't believe it.
Oh, what is that I've trodden on? Right. Oh, it's flooded. Badly flooded. Right. Excuse the poor filming. There's the, would have been the toilet in there. And then, if that's flooded or that's the ceiling, it's a really low ceiling in here. Yeah. Ah. Get it to focus. Wow. Yeah, this one's completely been stripped out, but look how flooded that is. I mean, that's halfway up the wall. We've seen better ROC posts. If you don't know what I'm talking about, ROC stands for Royal Observer Corpse Post. These were built around 1955, I think, at the start of the Cold War. And they were basically built as monitoring posts for, in the event of like a nuclear weapon being deployed by the enemy. So they would be able to track any nuclear bombs being dropped or anything, and then they'd be able to hide down here. There'd be 3 people working in there from the corpse, and they were all stood down in 1991 and they were all shut. Worth coming up here, wasn't it, for that? So yeah, that there would have been the ventilation shaft. Would have had a grill over it. That's been completely ripped out, and then the hatch would have actually had a hatch that comes down on it and a lever, yeah, usually got a mind your head and back sign, but a lot of people end up stealing them, unfortunately. They're pretty cool. So up top now, this other structure in the bushes here would have been part of the ROC post, and it would have been another ventilation shaft. The length of the bunker would have run under here, and there's a, just through there, you can't really see this but I can see it, there's a circular thing on the side of it. That means this was a master post. In other words, it had a telecommunication system, and they would have been able to stay in contact with like the master posts. Like each region had like a basically a headquarters bunker, and you know, all the master posts and the posts that didn't have telecommunications would have been run and controlled by that headquarters bunker. And then there's the pipe there. I can't remember if that's the fixed survey meter or the ground zero indicator. I don't know, I can't remember what they're called. Someone will correct me in the comments, but yes, a few of the features have still survived of this ROC post just between Lowestoft and Coastline. And you've not only got that, but you've got all of these structures as well. So these definitely look like they were World War II. This, as I say, is later. This is like Cold War era. Really cool. They probably built it next to this so they could use that as like an observation post. Like a lot of ROC posts have got all-lit B towers. Basically, it was a plane spotting platform, so they could see enemy planes, you know, if they were going to drop a bomb or something, and they quickly run down here into the bunker. You wouldn't really want to survive that, to be honest with you, though. So I don't think we're going to be able to get up on top of this. I'd like to try, but we'll see. And then there's still this little structure over here to look at, but yeah, absolute top find. That I can't believe we've found that. If we hadn't seen that bloke that said, oh, there's a ladder that goes down into the ground over there, did you check that out, we wouldn't have come round here. So our fourth structure that we said we'd come back to is this one. It doesn't look like there's a lot here, so I'll just quickly show you. So there's like divided little things. That could have been toilets, don't know about shower blocks. It looks probably more like toilets. Let's see if we can get a look in if there's a pipe or anything. No, but it's clearly divided like cubicles almost. So yeah, it could have been a toilet block. Educated guess here. Get in the comments if you know. Dawn's excited. It's great when you find a woman that's interested in exploring old shit like you. You're right.
No, it's really slippery.
So this fifth building is pretty much the same as the first one we explored. It's got that block for some sort of engine or contraption in here, and then what have we got? We've got a set of steps here, which looking pretty good nick, to be fair, because I don't think you can get round there to get down those. You have to sort of climb down through the opening. And then we have a second set of stairs in even better condition, literally like they were built yesterday. Oh, can you get out up there? Okay. So I think we've explored all of these World War II Cold War structures here up on the cliffs just outside of Lowestoft. Really cool. Yeah, did not expect to find all of that. Right, I think it's time to get back down that staircase onto the beach and continue on with this walk. So it's gone 2:30 and we've arrived in Kessingland, sort of between Lowestoft and Coastline, and apparently there is a pub here, so we're going to check the pub out. We've just found it, and I did actually do a wild camp and a walk here on my own quite a while ago, I'll stick a link up there. And on this beach, it's a pretty cool beach. Anyways, the pub is calling. Let's get a cold one in.
The beach at Kessingland is a wide, windy expanse where in high summer a number of specialist plant species such as sea kale, sea pea, sea holly and yellow-horned poppy are to be found growing among the shingle. Kessingland, once the summer residence of the novelist H. Rider Haggard, consisted of two separate communities, Kessingland Beach and Kessingland Street, until the 1960s. The village is now a popular holiday centre with several holiday parks and an Africa-themed wildlife park, Africa Alive.
We stopped at the Sailor's Home pub. In fact, we're on a little sort of promenade-y bit with benches and stuff. I picked up this cider. They recommended it to me. I was going to have a Magnus and they was like, nah, try this. So it's a Norfolk Adder cider with bite. It's 4.5% and it's from Woodford's Brewery. It's pretty cool looking. A medium dry cider created with a blend including bittersweet apples, delivering a refreshing taste with a crisp bite. And Dawn has got an Old Moot berries and cherries. Dawn is a cider fan, so that's perfect.
Oh, it's going down nice.
It's going down nice, is it? Yeah. Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
And of course, every alcoholic beverage would not be complete without not one but two cheese and onion crisps. I know, big bags. Awesome. So, enough thinking, let's get drinking. Cheers. Things have got a little bit better in Kessingland. A live band has just started playing behind us in the pub. Yes. Excellent. I popped a couple of Pro Plus earlier as well, and I think they might just be starting to take their effect. I'm like, let's just get going. And then this come on, I'm like, yeah. This is absolutely banging. What a time to be alive. I better stop it there though because of copyright.
This is the hamlet of Covehythe, a once much larger settlement that has been dramatically reduced by erosion. To see evidence of this, continue along the road that passes the church and soon come to a sudden halt where the road falls away to what is now the beach. Almost all of the settlement of Covehythe has now vanished beneath the waves, a casualty of coastal erosion. A small prosperous town in medieval times, Covehythe today is just a tiny hamlet. The once great church of St Andrews was partly dismantled by villagers in the late 17th century, when permission was given to remove the roof and build a smaller, more easily maintained place of worship within the original walls against the west tower. The tiny new church that dates from 1672 is thatched and houses the original medieval font. The tower of the older church still stands as a beacon to ships at sea, but given the severe erosion that persists along this coast, it is unlikely that it will still be standing by the mid-21st century. As with the previous stage, there are two alternatives depending on the state of the tide, a beach walk or an inland route. With a low or mid-tide, the beach route is probably preferable. It is usually possible to walk along the beach all the way to Southwold, although if the tide is threatening south of Covehythe Cliffs, follow the inland route from Covehythe.
Sun is more or less setting now, and we have arrived at Southwold Pier. which is like the northern edge of Southwold. We want to get to the southern side, closer to Walberswick and the River Blythe estuary, where we've got a choice of 2 wild camp spots for the night. I've wild camped at both of them in previous videos. I think we're going to probably go with the Southwold side. We need to get water, so what we're going to do is spend sort of the first half of the day tomorrow here in Southwold exploring. I've got lots of filming to do, stuff to show Dawn and stuff to see. We've got our Adnams Brewery tour at 12 midday. That's an hour and a half. So yeah, we're going to be here, I reckon, latest till about 2-3 o'clock, and then we're going to have to get walking again and hopefully get to Dunwich, or as close to Dunwich as we can. So tomorrow's going to be a bit more of a relaxed day, not as much mileage, which is good, because today we've hammered it out. We've done, guidebook says about 11.5. I'm going to say we've done 12 miles today, so we've put a shift in. Doesn't sound like a lot of mileage, but of course I've been filming, we've stopped, we've taken our time. We've been walking for about 7 hours, I think. We started at about 11 AM. I know there are people out there that can walk far more miles in 7 hours, but do you know what, I actually don't care, because we've enjoyed it and we've got to see all the sights and stuff, you know. So it's been hard going, but it's been worth it. It's been really good fun. Dawn's feet are hurting, my feet are hurting, my shoulders and back, and my right arm's hurting because I've got a bit of elbow tendonitis from the gym, and that's for some reason playing up. I thought a week off weight training would help, but we'll see. Anyway, it's getting late. We just want to find somewhere, or find the spot to camp, get some water. Maybe I've talked Dawn into maybe getting some fish and chips. I'll be honest with you, I'm going to show you more of Southwold in greater detail tomorrow, when we've got a bit more energy, we've got better light, and we've got more time as well. Yeah, it is lovely, Southwold, so I'll show you that more tomorrow. That's going to be in part 2, but yeah, stick with us for the rest of this part anyway. We are sat on the promenade in the dark. The lighting does not do it justice, it is pretty dark here, and I have just got ripped off by fish and chips. So we went to the little chip shop in Southwold. It was the nearest one that we found that was open, and what did we get? So we each got a cod and chips. I don't want to tip it up because it will probably fall out everywhere. There's chips under there. We got some homemade, apparently, tartar sauce to share, and some homemade mushy peas to share. So we got a cod and chips each. I would say that's a regular size portion. You get wooden cutlery with it, like half decent wooden cutlery, and then we also got 2 of these bad boys. We got a bottle of Aspel draft cider each. We're going to save those for camp. We just want to eat first. Now, the reason I switched the camera on was because for all of that lot I paid £35. It better taste good. First impressions, the chips are really good, but you can't really fuck chips up, can you, from a chippy? They're really good. The fish, I think the batter personally tastes a bit overcooked. I mean, it almost looks slightly burnt. Very, very crispy. Give you a little dirty cross section. There we go. I mean, the fish looks pretty white. I've had better, but I've had worse. What do you think?
Yeah, it's not the best.
It's not the best for 35 quid. I mean, like, in their defence, right, 10 quid of that was 2 Aspels, £5 a bottle, so, you know, what do you expect? I mean, Southwold is quite upmarket and posh, but come on. Just 2 cods worth like £15 something, and they're not massive, so yeah. It's 8:30 and we've made it to the south side of Southwold. and we're sort of in amongst the sand dunes at the back of the beach. There are houses the other side, there's like marshes and then like a small road and houses, but we're out of sight of that, and we're sort of tucked down behind all the dunes and this grass. So we found a sort of a flattish spot here. There's a night fisherman just over there behind Dawn down at the beach. They look like they're staying here overnight because they've got like a shelter and stuff and they're fishing. The moon's out over there reflecting on the water. It's nice soft white sand here. So we're going to get the tent set up. We've got some water as well. Yeah, a bit of a funny story about that. I probably shouldn't tell you though. So, but nothing illegal, but it could have been. That's all I'm going to say. Anyways, let's get a tent set up. Here we are, what you've all been waiting for, a look at the new tent. So it's probably about 9:30 now. We've spent a bit of time setting it up and getting the sleeping bags in and mats set up and whatnot. So it's the OEX Phoxx II. It's basically, like I say, the 2-person version of the Phoxx I. It affords a little bit more space. I'd say it's probably a good, like, luxurious 1-person tent and a really cosy 2-person tent. That's fine for me and Dawn. So we've got our rucksacks in, some black bags, some bits and pieces outside, a kneeling mat each. Good thing about this tent is it has got 2 doors and 2 very small porches to store stuff in, guy lines and stuff. I've got a mixture of sand stakes and some of the normal shepherd's hook stakes that the tent came with. That's Dawn's door on her side. So it's got an air vent up the top there, same as the Phoxx I. Yeah, it's a nice little stealthy low profile tent. Green, of course. I think we got this off eBay and it had been used like once. It was in pretty damn good condition. I can't remember how much we paid for it. I'm gonna say it might have been about 85 quid, and they usually go for 100 quid or more, and like that's brand new, so this is in still pretty good nick. So inside, Dawn's already in her sleeping bag. She's saying she's not getting out now.
Very comfy.
Dawn's got an OEX Traverse mat, I think. I used to have one. They're good little cheap lightweight summer mats. She's got a new Carrymore summer sleeping bag that we got, I think from Sports Direct. I used to have one years ago. She's got a little X-Ped pillow that I gave her. The tent has got 2 pockets over the back. It's got a light hanging loop up the top. There's my sleeping bag. It's just some cheap Mountain Warehouse summer bag. It's got a built-in bug net. Yeah, it's called the Vacation Anti-Bug. And yeah, both of these sleeping bags are well under 1 kilo. They're very lightweight. Like I say, they're just ideal for summer. I mean, this is what, sort of late summer, so it's alright. I've got my clothes that I had on today just hanging up sort of in the porch, just to sort of air them out a bit because they're absolutely soaked in sweat. We've got our 2 Aspel draft ciders from the extortionate fish and chip shop. We've got an OEX pole each, because we've also got a cheap waterproof poncho tarp each, and I just said as a backup, if something went wrong with a tent, we could at least rig up some poncho tarps. We've got some paracord, and yeah, we just have to rough it in our sleeping bags under a poncho tarp each, and that's our rainwear as well. That bag has got all of my meals in. We've got, I think, enough breakfasts, dinners and desserts, like dehydrated meals for 3 or 4 days. We've got that each, so we've got 3 or 4 days each worth of dehydrated food, and some snacks and teas, hot chocolates, coffees.
Some of them we nicked from the bed and breakfast.
And a little honey.
Oh, and a little honey and some jams as well we got. And, yeah, Dawn's absolutely done. Energy levels 1.
Oh.
You've done really well. We've done really well today. We've smashed out 12 miles, basically walking along the beach the whole way. So that's been good.
I'll tell the story of the water.
Oh, story of the water. Right, I'll turn the camera on. I'll tell you what, I'm going to crack a cider open and I'll tell you the story, people.
Oh, don't.
So these are Aspel draft ciders, a crisp medium dry cider with the aroma of fresh green apples. Aspel was established in 1728 at the cider house Aspel in Suffolk, so it's a local cider, inland more. This one's 5.5%, so that should put us to sleep. A classic cider with a delicate taste of fresh pressed apples, crafted at the original cider house Suffolk. Appearance pale straw, aroma fruity and floral, taste fresh apples. As you'd expect really from a cider, let's be honest. Right, everything is covered in sand, by the way. Like, yeah, that lovely pure white sand just gets everywhere. It's going to get in places that sand shouldn't be. Cheers everyone. Cheers Dawn. That's alright. Oh, that's fucking strong. Oh, right, that's going to put us to sleep. Anyway, there you go. Get your laughing gear around that. It's covered in sand. Right, so we was walking along the promenade in the dark after we'd had our fish and chips. I had my head torch on and we're looking for somewhere to get water. We would have had to head further up the hill into Southwold to get to a pub, and of course it would mean probably buying a drink in the pub as well just to get water. And I was like, there's got to be a tap somewhere around here, you know, like at the beach huts or something, because they need to get water from somewhere. So I was looking for that anyway, and the promenade sort of led past these houses or like flats, I'm not sure, and there was like some lights on and like the windows open, couldn't see him. And right out the front, like next to the walkway, like the pavement if you call it, overlooking the beach, there was a tap on the outside of someone's wall. And I was like, we could get water from there. No, we shouldn't do that, no. Well, I'll knock on their door then. No, it's too late, we'll disturb him. It was about 8:30 at the time. So we walked on a bit, couldn't find any more taps, nothing. We was basically getting to the quiet end of Southwold, basically here where the dunes are and stuff. So we turned back and I was like, look, I reckon I could, like, there wasn't a fence or anything, it was literally like the tap was there next thing. I reckon I can quickly turn the tap on and fill up all the bottles. We had 4 1 litre Nalgene water bottles. We'll get 4 litres of water, boom, go. So we get back there. Dawn was like, it could be a really noisy tap though, just run it quietly. And I was like, that should be alright, it's a tap anyway. Turned it on. It's probably the loudest tap in Suffolk ever. Like that, just to get water. She was like, run it slowly, right? It still sounded like a strangled cat. I was like, quickly, just fill them up. We got 3 litres of water before we heard a woman shout from inside the house, what's going on? Like that. And we was like, quickly, let's just go. Like, there's no crime in Southwold. It's such a peaceful, happy place here. They're probably thinking, what's going on? Should we call the police? That tap was so loud, like, you couldn't write this, honestly. It was the loudest fucking tap ever, right? I didn't even run it long enough to, you know, to clear the like Legionnaires if there was any of that stuff on an outside tap. Oh, cheers. What'd you think?
Nice. I
yeah.
Like that.
Well, do you want to crack another one open?
No.
Oh, right. Okay. Got another cider for tomorrow night, people. Yeah. So, yeah, it was just bad. Like, I could have knocked and asked, but I thought I don't want to disturb them, you know. And the tap's just there. Water's free, you know. You're not gonna go, you're stealing from me. It's just like,
It's 4 litres of water. What's the it's not the end of the world, is it? So yeah, that wasn't good. That was, the dog started barking, she started shouting, and that was it. I was like, I could say, I just want to get some water from your tap. I thought, nah, like, let's just get it and go. So yeah, that's what we did. We stole water from someone in Southwold. Anyways, that's the story. Anyways, cheers. We're gonna sink this Aspel cider and chill out, sort our feet out because our feet are hurting. Enough yawning, and I'll see you in the morning. Night, everyone. Say good night, Dawn.
No.
Night. Bye. See you in part 2.